Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Harith Hakeem bin Abu Bakar, and I will talk about the introduction of the new economic policy and the objective of the new economic policy. Okay, for the introduction, the new economic policy, which compiled between the years 1971 until 1990, had become a talking point even after 20 years its implementation. Some say it was a controversy policy and might be the most controversy among all. The policy enforced and mainly support the economy and the social development of the Bumiputras. However, many found themselves being discriminated systematically, especially those non-Bumiputras. The debate about the implementation and its effectiveness had raised out many voices, since the objective highlighted were not only having a significant impact on economic issue but also on political aspect. As to date, the view on the policy are mixed up with different outlook and viewpoint based on what someone perceive.
Hello, my name is Izzuddin Zairulhisham, and I will present about problem of new economic policy. The term policy problem evokes question of what makes a social issue a policy problem. However, it likewise brings up issues with respect to whether issues can really be phantom through an operation and how. Strategy issue involve an essential job in approach considers. Notwithstanding the basic explanation that political specialists are probably not going to adjust or make strategy without the nearness of issues in that capacity, management issue possess a significant spot in mainstream hypothetical structure as often as possible utilized in the field of open approach. In the social development of target populations approach, the menace by which people in general sees specific subgroup or subpopulation direct our comprehension of strategy issue and the kind of instrument to convey. Framework for policy feedback assume that current policy structure the formation of policy problem along the lines of altering existing policy. The new economic policy NEP, which compiled between the years 1971 until 1990, had become a talking point even after 20 years its implementation. Some say it was a controversy policy and might be the most controversy among all. The policy enforced and mainly support the economy and the social development of the Bumiputras, literally sons of the soil, which includes Malay and another indigenous group. Anyway, many ended up being segregated efficiently, particularly those non-Bumiputras. Two-dimensional destination have been presented under NEP to diminish and in the end kill neediness, and the second is quicken the way toward rebuilding Malaysian culture to take out the distinguishing proof of race with monetary capacity. The discussion about its usage and viability had ascended out numerous voices, since the destinations featured were not just significantly affecting financial issues, yet additional on political viewpoints. As to date, the perspective on the strategy are stirred up with various standpoints and perspective dependent on what somebody said. Some view the policy are in exclusiveness or more favorable to a single race, which was Bumiputras. Thus, the policy postulated to as injustice to other races. On the other hand, the majority of Bumiputra holds it positively, as the policy secure their long-lasting survival in economic and gradually improve their standard of living.
objective of the new economic policy. The main objective of the new economic policy is to achieve racial unity through two strategies. First, eradicate poverty. Okay, poverty is one of the main reasons that cause people dissatisfaction. Poverty is not only in rural areas, but it's also have in city areas. This situation can be detrimental to racial unity because this problem by race with the highest poverty rate among Malays. Next, restructuring societies. This phenomenon complicates the distribution of national wealth and economic justice while at the same time complicating racial unity. Thus, through the NEP, the government has made effort to improve economic imbalance and eradicate racial identity based on economic functioning. It clearly wants to ensure that the 30% Bumiputra involvement in economic ownership is achieved.
My name is Hasnida binti Doa Elias Hassan. I will talk about the ethos of new economic policy. The implementation of the Second Malaysian Plan RM2 1971 until 1975 was based on socio-economic development in Malaysia. Under the government economic policy is the new economic policy introduced by the second Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tun Abdul Razak bin Hussein. The Malaysian Plan was drafted by the National Legislative Council. The new economic policy is a policy related to unity as well as the arrangement of the society in Malaysia. The policy is a government policy that covers the duration of the National Development Plan. The range from the Second Malaysian Plan 1971 until 1975 to the Fifth Malaysian Plan 1989 until 1990. The passenger of the new economic policy has changed the attitude of Malaysian community, which is made up with the various physical, regulation and political difference. The ever-changing economic development saw the encounter in the state of relation between 1990 and 1980. Government has sought the identity improvement measure to improve the Malaysian economy. The strategy of new economic policy. First, reduce poverty in the community. Discontent by public because their source of income disparity between urban and rural area, especially the Malays who are bound by their traditional agricultural activities. Some efforts are needed to eradicate poverty faced by the people through the implementation of new economic policy. In this policy, firstly, creating employment opportunities for all unemployed people without the favour of government. Previously, we found that job opportunities were so limited because of the land agriculture and urban areas that the Chinese and Indian had monopolized. The advantage of this led to the Malaysians suffer hardcore poverty. The problem of unity due to the poverty problem are very severe in relation to the race. Second, the new economic policy also adopt a strategy of creating working environment that reflect the racial and composition of nation. That means that job will be carried of simulationists and no isolation will occur. This collaborative partnership encourage the community to build good relationship and not be confined to one race alone. Lastly, new economic policy also started strategies to ensure formulation of a commercial and industry community among the Malaysians and Bumiputra so that they can manage to own at least 30% of the economy. Through the establishment of this policy, the status of the current industry must first be considered before embarking on any form of trade industry within the country.
Hi, my name is Laila binti Rosli. I am from 2H. I will be the next presenter that I will tell you about the effectiveness and the strength of new economic policy. The effectiveness of new economic policy is reduce and eventually eradicate poverty. However, the arrangement of money-related and deferred assets for the usage of the NEP by the Open Division Foundation and officers contributed towards a creating degree of officers and administration for the nation's fast modern turn of events. Secondly, the effectiveness of the new economic policy is certain areas restructuring. The program has likewise verified territories of rebuilding. The work openings in all segments and at all degrees of occupation are being rebuilt well. Next, the strength of the new economic policy. Firstly, the strength of the new economic policy is they manage to restructure the economy, which is economic restructuring is used to indicate changes in the constituent parts of an economy in a very general sense. The strength of the new economic policy it is managed to create a large segment of middle class Bumiputra. It means that the Bumiputra represent a critical level of the executive and by and large the procedure of modernization, industrialization and urbanization.
My name is Khaleeda Muhammad Nazari. I will explain about the weaknesses of the new economic policy in Malaysia and the recommendation. The new economic policy was initiated by the second Prime Minister Tun Abdul Razak and then continued by the next Prime Minister for 20 years. Even though this new economic policy was made to reduce poverty, until now in Malaysia, we can still see people are suffering from financial problem. Some of the weaknesses of our new economic policy are the politicians' selfish ambition, where they only use this new economic policy as a tool to attract votes from the people. Other than that, the job opportunities in Malaysia sometimes available to those who have power, such as one family member is working in a company that made it easy for the person to get the job. If the government did not observe this and let this slide, the new economic policy can turn to favor the elites rather than all the citizens, as everything involves the political power and influence. In other words, the elites who have connection to the politician or the rich have more benefits than the normal population. This concludes that even though this new economic policy help in reducing poverty, the government still need to improve the method of the new economic policy in order to successfully achieve Malaysian new economic policy goals. We recommend the government to open more job opportunities to all the citizens with healthy competition and no bias. This will help a lot of people out there to live a stable life. If enough job opportunities are generated, the level of unemployment will be decreased. In order to reduce the number of poverties, we also recommend the government to be more aware in bribery cases among the politicians, because honesty is the best policy. If the government money really reach the poor, this will help them to rebuild their life again.
My name is Izzuddin and I will continue to the conclusion. In the nutshell, as presented, there are merits and demerits of the implementation of NEP over the nation. By looking at the glass half full, we shall celebrate what we have. The increasing of Malaysian equity and emergence of new Malay middle class and entrepreneur has lessened considerably ethics tension. Not just that, the expansion likewise added to higher buying power among the general public that in a roundabout way help the economy to get by during financial outcome. The most noteworthy commitment of this strategy is regarding the harmonization and adjustment it brought along without rehearsing abuse and concealment to the races other than the child of the dead itself. Basically, the discrimination and inequality treatment towards minority is undeniable in all over the world, and with the exception to Malaysia. The systematic discrimination are perceived as normal submission, where the majority usually get higher benefit compared to the minority. Discrimination on education, family and urban planning, denial of admission into the national university was among the marginalization of a minority to ensure the majority get what they deserve. Be that as it may, by one way or another, NEP has been utilized as a weapon to conflict with Bumiputra accomplishment. The essential thought of NEP is an arrangement to upscale the monetary and to have an equivalent circulation of the national riches without disregarding any gatherings. Be that as it may, the legislature did not anticipate of its impacts. It is variable that the usage of NEP has brought along the upsetting issue. NEP has rewarded money politics, rent-seeking behaviour, patronage, dependency syndrome or subsidy mentality, and channel much individual energy and activity into distributional coalitions. The slope of NEP have been fulfilled by opportunists. It is as extensive and increased concentration of ownership in the hands of elite minority and the political ties. Thus, they are the one should shoulder the blames and not the policy discussed. That's all from our group, and thank you very much.